let's just start out with why you became involved in the league and where, and just a little bit of that original history of joining up with the league.
Well, I started in the league in Dallas. My husband had just gotten out of the service, and we rented a house on a very nice, lovely residential street, and it was so boring. It was lonely because I didn't know anybody, and how did I know there wouldn't be any children or any young people? Well, anyway, a friend of mine said, "Why don't you go to a League of Women Voters meeting?" And I remember my husband saying, "Well, if you want to go do something, you can pick 3 things, but it can't be bridge." I said, "Okay." I had a lady come once a week, and that was my day that I hit the circuit. And that's how that was free, and that's when I joined the league. Yeah. And then,
how old were your kids then?
Oh, babies. They were young. They were really young. Well, because my oldest son is 54, and if I've been in 50 years, you've got to figure he was 4 years old. But anyway, it was funny because then I went, then we moved to Dallas. We moved to Houston, and I didn't join anything there, and then we moved up to Dickinson, which is a small community between, when NASA wasn't even there, for heaven's sakes. So I got into the league there, and that was a whole different kettle of fish because it was little. And I got on the board, and I started to work my way up, and so it was a lifeline for me.
Yeah. So when you first joined in Dallas, did it satisfy some of those adult conversation type things
that I didn't have that I didn't get? But the league was just, when I got into it, it was a way to meet people. It was also a way to spark your mind a little bit and make you think. And it was just a real learning experience for me. It really was. It just, I would have never done, I don't think, or accomplished the things that I have done if it hadn't been for the league and my league background. I really
so in Dickinson, what were you?
Everything. I started out at the bottom on the board, and I don't remember. I was membership.
Secretary first.
I don't know. No, I don't think I was secretary. I think I did membership and things that a program. I think I remember doing program, and little by little, and then of course I became president eventually. And then I went on the state board, and because of Gwen, I knew Dorothy Brown, who was then president, and she put me on the Texas revision, the Constitutional Revision. Oh my God, I don't remember how long we were on that, but I got involved that way on that thing.
On the state level.
On the state level, and I started to go from. Was chosen after I finished my local level stuff to the state board.
Do you remember any issues that you in Dickinson or on the state board you mentioned the constitutional revision that was hairy?
Well, that was we were always working on that. It seemed to me we were always working on water. I'm not sure that we were always working on water, but I don't remember. See, because I'm like you, I was on the state board. I was membership, so I was all over the state. I went every place. We had the biggest membership, I think, in Texas. I think at the I don't know. Probably I think when I was in there, because see, I was there. I was president for 5 years. At the state level. That's a long time.
Yes.
But I liked membership matters. And that's what I mostly did.
And what years was that?
Oh, No.
Okay.
Don't.
In this- in
You
the
can go look
In
it
the
up in that thing.
70s, was it?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
At
Or
least.
80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably earlier, because I could go back. I'd have to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
There's a paper that they wrote up and put into that letter
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
went out, and
Right,
it said
yes.
when I started. I never remember dates. I do know one thing that was bad was the league. God bless them, always had the name tags, and I am lousy at names because I could sit up there and I could see her name and I know and blah blah blah. And to this day, I'm awful because they always had name tags, and I never got it in my mind to learn it. You know, so that's what happened.
It's those little things.
Yeah, it's those little things. Yeah, but I know we did a lot on voter service, but that at that time, voter service was like a separate arm.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just like a separate arm. It wasn't. It was just almost unto itself. You know, voter service was, and of course, a lot of people at that time thought that the league was partisan. And then me, I had to get up and say, oh, no, it isn't partisan, it's non-partisan,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
has reared its ugly head
Oh,
again.
yeah, everybody always thinks we're partisan, and it's funny because I never noticed it in the stuff that
And
we had.
nobody ever asked whether you were a member of one party or another.
No,
Nor did it ever come
No,
up
and
in the
when-
discussions of things.
no. And when I ran for mayor, you didn't run under a party, you just went.
Partisan,
Yeah, it was nonpartisan, so, but of course I couldn't do that until I had finished with the league.
So when did you were president of the Dickinson League,
yeah.
and then what?
And then I went on to the state board,
Okay.
and then I was on the state, and I worked my way up in the state board. I was on the state board for, I don't know how many years all told, but I know that I was president for 5 years. I'm pretty sure I got that right. On the state board. Yeah, because I served the longest. See, I served 2 terms, but for some reason I had not a term. Don't ask me why.
Probably took up somebody's.
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I know. Yeah. And so then, and then I went on to the national board. And I spent I spent a couple of years on the national board.
Yeah. How different was that from the state?
It was different.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
My heart, all my money, and all the money that I give stays right in Texas.
Yeah.
It always has, and it always will. And I just didn't, I liked some of the people,
Yeah.
but I didn't like, and they had me doing public relations, and that was really not my cup of tea. But hey, they asked you, when they asked you on the national board, they asked you for will you come on and do this? So I went on and did it for 2 years, but it was not for me.
And how do you think that, being raised in the league, as we all have been, helped in the other many things that you participated
Oh, well,
in?
it taught me leadership skills. Oh, my heavens, I learned more leadership skills than you could shake a stick at. I really did, and I wasn't afraid to get up and talk in front of people or to say what I thought, and it really taught me leadership skills. It taught me, and it taught me how to, maneuver around and how to call, not to be afraid to pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, I want such and such and such. And then from there, I held a lot of governmental, I've got huge gavels in my office there, that from state committees that I was put on. Well, I went on that because of the league, and I served on there in that capacity, and I served in other organizations. I was appointed to Gulf Coast Waste Management Association, and I was on a number of things, but that was because of my league experience. Yeah. That's what I
And
think.
so, what were some of the things that you mentioned that you were mayor, of course. And then, but what other things did you? You were appointed to
I was
various
on
committees on the state
a
level.
number of various committees on the state level. I served on something that had to do with judicial, something that had to do with water. I was then at the state level. All of this is in my resume. If you want me to go get my resume, I can. But I've been.
I know. When you do so many things.
I did a lot of things. I really did. I was in, you name it, and I did it. I did all kinds of. I helped at the school. I did, that. PTA, my heavens, they sometimes, I don't even know, I think they have PTA, but I did PTA, I did all of the polio, heart, you name it, all those associations, chaired all those associations. I never learned to stay down at the bottom. I always seem to take the top spot, and I always, just like now, I'm up at the hospital. I just finished a year as the president of Seton Southwest Volunteers,
Right.
and there's about 115 women there, and they said, was it hard? I said, nah, it was a piece of cake. After being mayor, it was a piece of cake. And the mayor's job didn't pay.
Yeah.
It didn't pay. Jan Coggeshall was mayor of Galveston,
Right.
and when I was around Dickinson, doing Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
But I just was I had a great time.
Yeah.
I was in, when I was in Washington, I was fortunate enough because I got to go to the Rose Garden. I was, as public relations, I think we did the first debates.
Oh,
The first debates.
Right.
And I did get to do that, and that was interesting, and it was held in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of experience.
And do you feel that the league contributed in your knowledge? Because of all the studies. And all the activities and stuff?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I never graduated from college. The league was my college.
Yeah.
And I went to a junior college, but the league was my college. And I don't know if it's the same now. I don't know.
It is.
But
I can tell you.
Yes, but I just know that was my college. That was my way to
learn. Right?
to learn. And I tell you, the nicest thing that I always thought about the league was just like you two ladies coming today. You went to a league meeting, you never knew a stranger. That getting to know you, period, didn't have to happen in the league. It never does.
Yeah.
You just came in, you were a league member, people took you at the level you were at, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And
I think that's still true.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because
there is a camaraderie there
that's just
that's
automatic.
pretty instant.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a little bit different. I notice it in other places that I go, that there's this cliquishness. Mm-hmm. We never had that in the league. Yeah. We never had time. Who had time for cliques?
Yeah, exactly.
Who had time for that? And we didn't. And I don't think we took ourselves too seriously. Mm-hmm. I think I remember one of the best things, the nicest things that happened, besides many, many things, was I gave a speech. I think it was at one of our, it had to be convention, state convention, something like that. And some young girl came up to me afterwards and she says, "You know what?" And I said, "What?" She said, "I want to do what you're doing." She said, "You have fun." And I said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "And you can too." Because I always enjoyed it. Yeah. To me it was fantastic.
Good friendships, good,
good times,
fantastic. Laughs, cries.
Wonderful friendships, and they go back and back. I had somebody call me the other day, and I really had to think. I thought, now, who is this? It was Carolyn Erickson, and she served on my board. And where does she live now? Houston. And she says, "How come I can't find you in Houston?" I said, Carolyn, I don't live there anymore. She said, well, Rick and I moved to Houston, blah, 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 blah. You know, that goes back years.
Yeah.
And I just had to rack my brain and think, what position did she hold on my board?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
what, and that's how far
So,
back it was.
okay, Vita,
Okay.
why don't we just close with why you think, why you would encourage people to join the league?
Well, because to me, I think it's the most balanced because it's home. You do the homework. You go out and do the advocacy. You go out and do this and that. And I think it's the most balanced picture of what is going on in that particular area. I think this new focus, and I did read a little bit about it, on this voter service, I think is fantastic. I really do think it's a very, I've always felt that voter service is a great, you know, when people used to run around and say, where are the voters' guides? Where are the voters' guides? You know, I can't do it. You know, we were damned on one area, and then, where's the voters' guides, you know? Well, if you know, if we were supposed to be partisan, how come they were coming to get the voters' guides? I think it's for young people, and they don't have a lot of time, and I know it. And they, oh my Lord, their kids are in everything from A to Z. So I realize it's a battle, and you have to fight to get a little clump of time to get that membership and to get those people. But I still think it's the most fair and non-judgmental, you know. And I just think it's great. And I think it's the most same thing with what's going on in politics and everything today. It's a good base.
It's a voice of reason.
Yes, it is. It really is a voice of reason, and that's my feeling about it.